radio show. How is everybody doing today? I'm so excited to be with you. We're going to be talking about some serious stuff because we're talking about heart health today. We're talking about taking care of your heart and loving your heart and loving yourself. I have two beautiful, talented, and passionate women on the line with me, Miss Selena Allen and Miss Lauren Danielle. How are you ladies doing?
We are doing great.
Doing great. Thank you for having us on. Excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. And I don't think my co-host is with me today. She got called into work, but she definitely is sending some love your way. And I'm excited about the conversation. And before we get started, I'm just going to play a little clip from a song. It's from a group of cardiologists who've gotten together and put together a little song. It's called "You Gotta Walk the Walk," and it's called the Heart Walk. So stay with us, stay tuned, come back for some exciting information. Hold on.
Everybody's striving to be number one, but being number one isn't always fun. Cardiovascular disease, they gonna bring you to your knees. The worst killer of girls and guys, that is something that we despise. If you're asking, what can you do? Here's our advice to you: you gotta walk the walk. If you're gonna talk the talk, if your heart's in the right place, oh, you gotta walk. You see it every day in every family. High blood pressure, obesity, cardiovascular disease. Better wait, oh, won't you believe? It's hard to exercise a regularity, but you need to now so desperately. If you're asking, what can you do? Here's our advice to you: you gotta walk the walk. If you're gonna talk the talk, and if your heart's in the right place, oh, you gotta walk. Please don't stand, watch it go by. Eating burgers is fine, so you figure it out. Get on the couch, don't want you to take. Leave us when we say.
Hey, I was just sitting over here jamming. I was like, oh, let me end the call.
That was a good song.
It really was.
Yeah.
It really was.
It hit a lot of topics, obesity, high blood pressure, just a lot of different things, not just sitting around watching life go by, but, live your life. We only get one. That's my thing this year. We only get one. So let's live it, and live it to the best we can. And so there's a lot of things that, encompass this disease. And it's amazing. I was just, reading up on it. And even though it's like the number one killer of men and women, people still are like, it just doesn't affect them. You know how it is when, you hear about diseases and things, but until it hits home, it's like people still are worried about heart disease or what their heart health, is like. So that's why I wanted to contact you two ladies, because I know you're in the industry of health, wellness, and, cardiovascular. So, Selena, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be speaking with you guys in regards to cardiovascular. Now, everything that I speak of, I'm going to be speaking from the technical component of it. Like Allie said, I am the owner and operator of Carolina Cardiac Care right here in Columbia, South Carolina. About 2 years ago, I took a leap of faith and I started my own business. And just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I am a 13-year trained and registered cardiovascular sonographer, which is a technical term for just a heart and vascular ultrasound technologist. I did receive my formal training from through a cardiovascular sonography program at Midlands Technical College in Columbia, in conjunction with clinical training at the Medical University of South Carolina in Charleston. So, again, I do specialize in assisting cardiologists and vascular surgeons with diagnosing heart, vein, and artery disease through ultrasound. Just to give you a little more background of the testing that my company performs, you may have heard of echocardiogram, that is an ultrasound of the heart. Carotid duplex exams, that is an ultrasound of the arteries in the neck that supply your brain with blood. Venous and arterial Doppler exams, that looks at the veins. A lot of people that you know may have experienced blood clots in the legs, in the arms. So those are some of the testing that my company performs. With the arterial Doppler exams, that looks at the arteries and how well that blood is circulating from the heart out into the arteries to the rest of your body. We also look at abdominal aorta aneurysms. You may know some people, or you have heard of people who have pretty much just dropped dead because they had a weakened blood vessel in the major artery of their body, which is the abdominal aorta. And what happens is sometimes due to high blood pressure, it could be a family history of it, that vessel, it becomes weakened and it bulges out. So eventually, if it continues to grow, it will burst and it could be fatal. So those are a few of the tests that my company, we look at, and we work very closely with these doctors to diagnose these problems within our community.
Oh, wow. So that's a lot of major stuff there. And
Yes.
we're gonna jump back into that in just a minute. I want Lauren to come on, introduce herself, and tell a little bit about what she does.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lauren. I am an owner of a mobile health and wellness business. And just to give a little bit of educational background about me, I have a degree in psychology and also rehabilitation counseling. And as of 2016, that's when I started my journey to mind, body, spirit health for myself. And then I came to realize that this was my purpose. So as of January 2019, I am doing my business full time. So I'm excited about that. Excited for what's to come. So in my business, I offer a variety of healing modalities such as yoga, Reiki, vibrational sound therapy, vaginal steaming, and detox therapy. And I'm just overall passionate about this work because it's what is needed to bring us to mind, body, spirit health and to bring us to a balanced life as well. So, yeah.
Yes, I love it. And so I brought these two together because, you can hear from a technical standpoint some things that you need to be aware of, some testing that you can get done. And, then, so one thing, is this true, ladies, when you have a damaged heart, is it possible that it can be repaired, the damage, or just certain things can be repaired, or you just have to go from where you are and make sure that no further damage takes place? Selena?
Okay, in regards to heart damage, it depends on how extensive the damage is whether it can be repaired or maintained. There are different things that the physicians can do. Again, I'm just talking from a technical standpoint. I'm ready to hear what Lauren has to say as well. One of the things that they will do I don't know if you guys have ever heard of stents. They will put stents in the major coronary arteries in the heart, and the stents are just tiny wire meshes that they insert to open up the blocked arteries within your heart, and it stays there permanently. So the twist side to this is a lot of people think that because they get these stents put in that they can still do what they want to do in regards to diet, eating unhealthy, not being active, and all of that stuff. But again, the arteries can continue being clogged. So you still have to maintain that healthy diet and be social and be active and get that blood flowing. It's not, they don't put the stents in just for you to just continue to do with what you have been doing. So that's one of the things. So another thing that the physicians will do, a lot of people have had bypass surgery, and basically what that is, instead of putting the stents in, maybe it's too far gone for the stent. So what they will do is sometimes they will get a vein from your leg, from your thigh, and they will attach it to those coronary arteries that are blocked, and they will make a little passageway where the blood can flow freely through that passage and bypass that artery, the segment that is blocked. So that's another thing. The third thing is they may put you on medication. I know a lot of people nowadays, they're more with the natural remedies and all of that, and I am for that. Amen. Hallelujah. I'm on my natural remedy stuff too. But from scientific wise and just speaking from experience, they will prescribe you medication to help you maintain a healthy heart or to get you back to a level where you need to be. And again, I am very interested in hearing what Lauren has to say, because for more of the naturalists and the herbalists and all of that good stuff, there are recipes out there for heart health and all of that good stuff. And the bottom line is just living healthy and changing your lifestyle. But those are a few of the things that, that's out there in regards to heart damage and trying to repair it or maintain it in that aspect.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Selena. And so, Lauren, what is your answer to this question? And I'm just, I want everybody to really pay attention. This is something, and I think it's our heart, it's something we don't see. Sometimes it doesn't, we're not feeling the effects immediately, but a lot of things are taking place, when we're just lethargic, when we're eating the way we want to, when we smoke and do different things. And so, Lauren, tell us, somebody has come to you and, they've had damage, and taking care of our heart, like we said, overflows to our total wellness. So, Lauren, what is your opinion on that?
Certainly. So I definitely, and I speak from a metaphysical and alternative health perspective. So I would say to that question that you asked, can a heart be repaired, heart damage be repaired? I would say yes. I believe anything could be repaired. And as Selena mentioned, it could be repaired or maintained. So you can't, if you are at a place where your heart is repaired to, optimal health, you can't go back down that same path and do what you were doing beforehand. So you definitely have to keep up whatever brought you to that total health. You have to maintain that in order to, keep your heart healthy. So, and again, I just believe that anything can be repaired. As long as to me, I feel like it takes prayer, faith, and action. And anything can be repaired or restored. And as Selena mentioned as well, like there's a variety of herbal remedies. There's, exercise, all of those things that can be pulled together in order to repair the heart.
Awesome. And so another reason I chose these two ladies, because I know they're both women of faith as well. And
Amen.
a lot of times, even in our daily lives and everything, we have to walk by faith. There's a lot of things like even stress and certain situations on your job and in your home. Don't you think that also affects your heart?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I
So
would
what?
say, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say. So what kind of effects do you think that those outside pressure, stress, has on your heart? You can go ahead and continue.
Okay, so for me, I believe that a lot of unresolved issues can cause damage to the heart. So if there's like a trauma someone experienced, that can take effect on the heart. Like say there's something happened when someone was a child, they were raped, molested when they were a child, and they never addressed the situation. And what I mean by address, when you just suppress it and keep it in, and you have, and this person that did this to you is still, you still see them on a daily basis because they could be a family member. So you have, this person may experience resentment for the person. You,
Lauren, I'm losing you just a little bit.
can you hear me?
You still with us?
I can
Okay.
barely hear her.
Yeah. Lauren, we can't hear you very well, so jump back in whenever you're in a good spot. But I'm going to continue in that flow that you're talking about. I truly believe, because, I'm just going to be honest on here. I think it was last year. I went to the doctor and I was like, I think I might be having a heart attack, or I think something's going wrong with me. You know, can you, just check me out? What do we need to do? Hook me up to some machine? And, it wasn't, she came back and, she did a few things and she was like, no, I think you're okay. And at that moment, I realized it wasn't necessarily my physical heart, but it was a lot of things taken that was causing pressure to my heart, like spiritually,
Absolutely.
um, you know, friendships, people walking away from you, things that, like Lauren was alluding to, that you've suppressed for a long time. And it was just weighing on me. And I just, I guess before I was able to take it, but I just wasn't able to take it anymore. And so it was feeling like I was, maybe at the point of having a heart attack, a stroke, or something. And so
Absolutely.
we have those unresolved issues when we don't, clear out our, we like to declutter our homes, but we have to declutter our vessel that God has given us, in our mind, in our soul, and in our spirit, and be able to receive and be healed and be restored. Lauren, if
Absolutely.
you're there, you can continue, or Selena, um, speak to that, which I was just talking about, that spiritual and that decluttering and that healing internally.
Yes, absolutely. In regards to stress, that is a major risk factor for heart disease. Negative stress will kill you. As you were saying before, it can affect your overall health, not just your heart health, but your overall health. Um, just again, like Lauren was saying, past trauma, anything, if you're doing too much, if you're not taking the time to take care of yourself, if you're not taking the time to breathe, if you're not taking the time to talk to God, to ask Him for guidance, to ask Him for balance in your life, all of that stuff will take a toll on your mind and your body. And when your heart gets stressed, anything can happen to your heart. A few things, your heart can become out of rhythm. And if your heart is out of rhythm, there is a condition called atrial fibrillation. Your heart can just be fibrillating. Your heart is supposed to beat in sync. And if it's not doing that and it's quivering, and you're just adding on stress and adding on stress, and you're worrying about this and you're worrying about that, and you're not seeking God for guidance, and you're not praying, and you're not communicating, and you're not asking Him for strength, all of that will weigh on your heart and it will cause more damage. It will cause you, like you said, to have a heart attack. It will cause you to have a stroke, and you will not be good for yourself, or you will not be good for anyone around you, especially if you have children. A lot of times I've had to stop what I was doing and say, hey, get a grip. Like, this is too much. You're doing too much. I have good friends that will say, hey, you're not looking right. You're not eating right. You need to keep yourself together. You have a 5-year-old. Come on, let's get yourself together. So always have people in your corner that know you, that know your mentality, that can say to you, you're doing too much. Pray, seek God, eat right, take time to do other things besides work, work, work. Go out, get the stress off of you. Go get your hair done. Go get your nails done. Go retail therapy. Whatever you need to do, whatever it takes, get the stress and the burden off of you, because you are going to become weak. You're going to, you're going to kill yourself. So again, stress plays a major role in heart health.
Awesome. Thank you, Selena. And Lauren, I think you're back with us.
I am. Forgive me. That was technology. I'm in the country, and I was connected to Wi-Fi, so I think the connection went out for a second. So I'm back. Forgive me.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, we understand that. You're fine. But I did want you to complete, what you were speaking of, because I think it was some good information there.
Okay, so I was on. Okay, so I was speaking on trauma. So if, for example, if someone was molested or raped, and it may have well been a family member that done this to them. So they could be well into their adult years, and this issue was never resolved. They never received an apology. It was swept under the rug. This person could be carrying this pain, this anger, this unforgiveness in their heart for all these years. And you may, a lot of times when people, if you could sit with someone, and, talk to them, if they are having heart issues and they have a heart attack, they could, probably tell you, like, yeah, I was holding on to this for so many years and I never talked about it. No one knew about it. Only me and this person knew. They're holding, suppressing all that information, all that hurt and pain in, and so it eventually causes damage to the heart. India Reese said it best in one of her songs, "Get It Together." She mentioned I'm not going to sing it, I'll say it. She mentioned your chest hurt and your back aches for 15 years of holding the pain. And that's very well true, that, suppressing things can definitely take a toll on your body, literally, in a variety of ways. But we're speaking on heart right now, so yes, definitely addressing those issues could bring heart, happiness to the heart, making the heart healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and Allie, just to piggyback on what she was saying with the emotional stress, with any type of stress, that's going to increase your blood pressure. So when that increases your blood pressure, and again, you're worrying and you're doing too much, and you feel like you can't take it, that is weighing on your heart. That force of the blood, if your blood pressure is high, that force of the blood that's going against your heart walls, it's causing damage. It's causing heart failure. It's causing your heart to become thick where it cannot squeeze and relax like it should. So like she said, that past trauma, that emotional stress, that will also kill you. That will kill you.
Yes,
wow.
Absolutely.
And that's what that's what I'm passionate about doing this show, enlightening people. I want people to hear not just the statistics and things like that, but how everyday life plays into it. Because you might be somebody who eats healthy, but you're stressed out to the max. You know what I'm saying? You might not be sleeping well because you have things going on in your life. So you think, well, I eat okay. I get my vegetables and stuff. But there's other factors that are, playing together that, could still affect you. And so, like we keep saying, we're not, doctors or anything like that, but we're bringing awareness, things that you can do to help alleviate the opportunity for heart disease, strokes, and heart attacks and things like that. Being aware right now and moving from this point on to a better place in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul, in the physical body to make your life more productive and have you around much longer for your family and your loved ones to love on.
Absolutely.
So, Lauren, what are some of the actual things that you do and you're called Comedic Fitness and Wellness, correct?
Yes, correct. Comedic Fitness and Wellness. You want me to speak on the services
Yeah,
that
so
I
what
offer?
would be something you would do to help somebody? Like if I came to you and I, told you my situation and maybe, I'm going to take the pill or the medicine that the doctor has prescribed, but I don't want to stay on the medicine. How can you help
Mhm.
me get off?
Okay, so I would definitely make suggestions for you based on mind, body, and spirit health. Yoga would be one thing that I would recommend doing because yoga unites the mind, body, and spirit. And so that's a form of exercise. Definitely being active will be one thing that I will focus on. And even starting off simple of just walking to increase the heart rate. There's a excellent woman by the name of Leslie Sazon that's on YouTube, and she has a 15-minute walk-in. It's a mile, is 1 mile walks, and it's only 15 minutes. So that's like an easy way to start. So I would recommend something like something simple like that because you can do it in the comfort of your own home. Um, Cardio, so yoga, even with Reiki, that would be another recommendation I would do because Reiki, if anyone's not familiar with Reiki, it is energy work that helps um, to release any blockages that may be in the body, stagnant energy, because we are all vibrational beings. So sometimes when life happens, when trauma happens, we suppress things and they get trapped in various parts of our body. So the system is activated. Your body is in repair mode. So it could definitely, and with all my service, I kind of incorporate all of my service into one. So while you may be receiving your vibrational sound therapy, I may be doing some Reiki work as well. Um, Even vaginal steaming could help with heart health as well because again, heart health issues can be related to trauma, suppressed, and everything. So if it is so that could be trauma to the womb, which is also connected to our heart. And vaginal steaming involves the steaming of herbs to help to replenish and rejuvenate and repair our womb space area. And detox therapy. So detox therapy will be great because it would be a process that you could go through and learn how to eat properly, learn about the spiritual components that you can do to help repair your heart, to maintain your heart. Um, Food, exercise. Oh, and also crystal therapy. I didn't even mention that. So crystal therapy is another good service that will be good to maintain the heart because crystals they have various components to them, different energies that are good to help to provide healing. And with crystal therapy in the heart, a lot of green crystals are good for the heart. Even rose quartz is a good crystal to heal the heart. So a lot of those things I would recommend if someone were to come to me with um, heart issues and that will want to maintain their current condition, for optimum health of their heart.
Awesome. You have a lot of options there.
Yeah.
Yes. Sounds good. Sounds good.
So, Lena, we're about to go see her.
I know. I'm
Yes,
ready.
I'm
Just
right
tell me
here in
when.
Charleston, based in Charleston,
Oh
South Carolina.
yeah.
Um,
Okay, good.
yeah, so and I do travel, so definitely have to
Cool.
link up.
Yes, yes,
Absolutely.
definitely. And so, One thing I didn't know, again, we're bringing awareness. One thing I didn't know is that even having going to the dentist on a regular basis, making sure your teeth are, clean, you don't have gingivitis and things like that. Even that, if you're not taking care of your gums and things, is directly related to heart and can cause you to have a heart attack. I did not know that. Did y'all know that?
Absolutely.
So I mean, I would say I've heard. I'm not really familiar with it, but have heard. That our teeth are connected to various parts of our body as well. So I could believe that as well. Even there's a thing going on about the mercury fillings that's in our body. That when we get fillings and it's filled with mercury, that can play an effect in our health as well. So I can see how it all can be connected. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you think about people who have, like you said, gum disease and how it can get infected, and that stuff can get into your bloodstream. And once, it gets into your bloodstream, it can affect any organ in your body. It can shut any organ down. So it's so many things that can affect the heart. And like you said, people are just not aware, or they just don't take the time to gain knowledge and to study this information.
Absolutely.
Right, right. And so please listen up. I mean, and we used to sing the little song in school, your knee bone's connected to your whatever bone and all this kind of stuff. But everything God, yeah, God created this vessel, and it really does have healing components of its own. But everything is connected. I mean, you think, well, I got this access to, it don't really bother me that much, but you don't know what kind of infection it could be causing your overall body. I got this ingrown toenail. I just, keep some ointment on it or something. But we have to complete everything from head to toe, pay attention to it. Now, anybody who knows me, y'all know I'm talking to myself. I'm sitting here, I'm overweight, I've got a lot of stress in my life, so I'm talking to myself as well. And that's why I like having these shows, because I want somebody who's in my face telling me and making me realize, you know what, you're shortening your life by the things that you're doing. And when Danielle said, or Lauren, I'm sorry, said, one thing we don't exercise is our relaxation areas. What?
Yeah. Yes.
But it's so true. How many of us, continue on day to day? Okay, we got to go to work. We got to go to church. We got to get the kids to football, basketball. This I'm going to ballet. Oh, I got to take my mom here. And we don't take that time to relax. And I think, Selena was saying it too. You have to break your schedule sometimes.
Self-care is important.
Exactly. So talk a little bit more about that and why it's so important. We'll start with Selena.
Self-care is very important. Again, as I stated before, you have to take time for yourself, mentally, spiritually. Again, if you don't, you're just going to run yourself in the ground. You're going to shut down your organs. It doesn't even matter if it's other organs in your body as well. I've spent most of my life studying, the human body. I'm a biology major, so different things can trigger certain shutdowns in your body. And as we were talking before, again, back to the emotional stress and back to the social life and all of that. In heart disease, there are several things also that can cause you to go into a heart failure. One of the things that I talk about on my Facebook business page is alcohol heart. A lot of people don't even know that exists. It's called alcohol cardiomyopathy or dilated cardiomyopathy, where if you go out and you drink and you're an alcoholic and you're not taking care of your body, all of this stuff is causing your heart to be damaged, and it's causing you to go into congestive heart failure, where your heart is not squeezing that blood and relaxing, letting the blood in and squeezing it out to the rest of your organs. and it's causing, your heart walls to become very thin and your heart becomes very large. And, if that happens, then, you're pretty much doomed. If you don't make, sometimes people wait until it's too late, and sometimes they're given the diagnosis and they're just like, I'm not going to stop going out and drinking and going to the bars and having fun. YOLO, you only live once, and all of that, and they just do not care about themselves. And it's very sad that they would pretty much kill themselves for alcohol or for any substance abuse. You can get viral cardiomyopathy. You can go into heart failure because of cocaine, because of drug use, all of that. So your social, what you're doing socially, it matters. It matters to your heart. It really does. So people really need to pay attention to what they're doing to themselves. When you go out, just throw YOLO out of the window when it comes to your health. Because
I
you cannot
definitely agree.
you can't go out here and drink this and smoke this and pop this pill and think that it's not going to affect your health. You cannot do that. And again, that's where awareness comes in. Awareness is the key to prevention. You have to do better if you expect to live a longer, healthier life. And that's just the bottom line of it.
Amen. Oh, and that's so true. It's like, and I mean, when you get older, you try to tell the young people, oh, I've been, and they think, I got
Exactly.
20 years before I have to settle down. I'm going to do this right now, sow my wild oats, do all that stuff. But you're sowing things into your body, mind, and soul that you are going to see the results. You might, how you might talk about somebody, we got a friend, they can eat, and they never gain weight. But just because they're not gaining weight, they're doing something to their body. There is an effect. There's an effect to everything that we do.
Exactly. And just, Allie, just to get personal with that, you're preaching to the choir, because anybody who knows me, who had, you've been around me throughout the years, I hate vegetables. I absolutely hate vegetables. But I am at a point in my life, I have to live a healthy lifestyle. Um, Lauren, I weigh 85 pounds soaking wet. And I have been this tiny. I'm 38 years old. I weigh 85 pounds, soaking wet, you guys. And people, even my patients, they say, oh, you're so tiny. How do you stay so tiny? Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, well, listen, just because I'm tiny does not mean that I'm healthy.
Mhm. Yeah.
You cannot just assume that just because someone is tiny that
Right.
they're healthy, because I could be feeding myself lots of sugar, lots of things, lots of beef, anything that's unhealthy. I have done it, but it's catching up with me now, y'all.
Yeah. Uh,
So I
and
am more conscious of what I put into my body so I can feel better, so I can have more energy, and I can just, be a better me. So don't assume that you see someone and they're, tiny and they're eating all that, they're healthy, because 9 times out of 10, they're not.
Mm.
that is
That's
so
true.
true, Selena, and I could definitely attest to that because I was that person. And I use that story of myself now to share with others is that, prior to 2016, I was the unhealthiest, quote unquote, small person that you would ever
Mhm.
meet because I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs without being exhausted by the time I got
Mhm.
up the flight. Or, I wasn't eating properly. And I had a lot of stress. I just posted, a transformation picture of me from 2013 to 2019, and a lot of people couldn't believe it was me. I mean, even at that in 2013, I was even though I was smaller, I'd gained a lot of weight. My skin was unhealthy. I was stressed. So a lot of times people envy people that are smaller, but really we are just as messed up as everybody else. So,
Exactly.
you know, you just have to, like you
Exactly.
said, you have to realize how important your health is, and then, you know, you'll get tired of living the same thing over and over. So you make a change,
Mhm.
and that's what I did. But yes, I definitely agree with that.
And
Definitely.
I was going to mention that, Lauren. I saw that picture, and I was going to ask you about that because I couldn't believe it was you either. I was like,
Yeah.
what?
A lot of people said that. It was like, oh, that's you. Yep, that was me. But yeah, and
Well,
also
what
to
made
kind of
you
go
start?
off of what Selena said earlier about the drinking, and how that takes effect on, you know, on the heart and everything else. Um, you know, social settings and friends, like if you're going through a stressful
Mhm.
situation, the first thing your friend may say, or a friend, quote unquote friend, will say, let's go drink it off or whatever. So
Mhm.
we're suppressing, and we're, you know, causing more damage to ourselves than good, because all that is a temporary, I mean, and you know, sometimes you
Mhm.
have to do that to, you know, pull yourself through sometimes, but that's not a solution to the problem, is to drink it away. So, and that YOLO, I don't even agree with that statement, because you only die once. Like, so
Exactly.
live every day.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so, what makes you passionate? What made you start that journey, Lauren?
You said what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
What made you start your journey to health and wellness? Like, when back in 2013, what just made you say, look, I got to change something. I got to do something different.
Okay, well, so actually my journey started in, so 2013 was when stress and depression and unhappiness started to settle in for me. So from 2013 to 2000, I would say 2016, was when I got tired of the same thing over and over. I was tired of being stressed. I was tired of being unhappy. I was tired of wearing masks. I was tired of just my life at the time. So I looked for an outlet for myself, and that's how I came to yoga. And yoga helped me, and it was, you know, peaceful. I've, like I said, it was the only, because I would try different, you know, I would try to exercise, go to the gym, whatever, but it never sat well with me. So yoga was the one thing that stuck with me. And then again, that's what, once I began yoga, that's what kind of introduced me to the other aspects of healing and healing work. And again, it's my purpose. So, you know, it was meant for me to start with that one thing, and then everything else just kind of came right after it. So that's what brought me to my journey of health and wellness.
And so, Selena, for you, why are you so passionate about? I mean, you said you studied different things. Why did you stay so passionate about this journey and opening your cardiovascular business? What pushed you that way?
Well, I have always loved people, and I have always known that I wanted to go into healthcare. As a child, I actually wanted to be a pediatrician because I love children and babies so much. But God has a different plan from what your plan is, and God knows where to place you um, in a much needed area. So again, like I stated before, I'm a biology major, so from Charleston Southern in Charleston. So I spent a lot of time studying the human body, and I've always been fascinated with the heart and how it works and what affects it, and all of that from childbirth all the way up to when you die. So my love for people stems from the love that I have for Christ. I've always been a person where I felt like I have always had to be there for someone. So I meet different patients, different people every day, and you guys, their testimonies sometimes will have you in tears. I mean, I had one guy. when I was first getting started, and he was basically just telling me how he did not believe in Christ, and he didn't do this and he didn't do that, and he laughed at, people when they gave their testimonies. But when it was his turn, where his heart failed him and he had to get on a transplant list, and he shared with me that he pretty much collapsed and he was unresponsive, and during that unresponsiveness, you know he didn't know if it was a dream, he didn't know if it was a visit or whatever, but he knew that it had to be something from Christ, because it was just different for him, and it was a feeling that he had never experienced before. And he actually told me, he said, I honestly think that I died, and I had an encounter with my already deceased mother, and the feeling was so peaceful, and it was a great light and everything. And he said, a lot of people do not believe me, but I would not dare lie on anything like this. And he just kept saying the peace of it all made him want to stay where he was. And his mother told him, no, it's not your time. You have to go back and do the work of the Lord. You have to go back and spread the love and the experience that you had, and how this experience has caused you to, be cynical about Christ. And now you actually feel, the love of Christ and how he is going to spare your life. And he said from that moment on, when he opened his eyes, all he could see was the physicians and the cardiologists working on him doing CPR. And from that moment on, he was a lover of Christ. So, you meet different people with different testimonies of how, they started off in this predicament, and then with prayer and faith and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and actually just changing their ways. That stuff, it will stay with you for a long time. And I like to share those testimonies because it really changed my aspect of how I look at things, again, with the YOLO thing. If you want to live a long life, and you're asking God to bless you with riches and all of that, you have to do your part. You have to do your part. So, that's where a lot of my passion comes from, just having a love for people, and just being fascinated with the heart, and just being put in a situation where I can actually talk and spread the awareness, and go to these events, and just like this, having the opportunity to speak to God's people in regards to how to live your best life.
How to live your best life. I love it. And it does take work. God gives us
Absolutely.
a lot of grace, but there's work that we have to do. And like you said, I mean, we spend so much time, trying to take care of everybody else, but the better we take care of ourselves, the better we can take care of others. And so,
Mm-hmm.
thank you, ladies, for being on. Now, one question I have for you, and you may have answered it, Paulina. Now, having heart disease in your family and things like that, are there testing that you can do to figure out, where you are, where you stand, what your, you know,
Yes.
what your ability? Yeah.
Absolutely. One of the things that I tell people who ask me where to start, always start with an EKG. The EKG, if you don't know what that is, a lot of you may have seen like the paper that they print out and it has all the squiggly lines on it. That looks at the electrical component of your heart, and it gives the doctors a lot of information of, if your heart is in sync, if it's not in sync, if your heart appears to be thick. So it looks at the electrical component of what your heart is doing. So even if you haven't had any symptoms, any signs, you may have ignored them. And that's one of the major things that people do. They're in denial and they ignore things. And that's not what you need to do. So I tell them, even if they go to their primary care doctor for a regular, routine annual visit, if they don't offer an EKG, you request an EKG just to see what your heart is doing. So, that's the first step. And then from the EKG, they should be able to tell you, okay, your EKG is abnormal. I'm going to refer you to a cardiologist, to a specialist to get further testing done. So that's where I come into play and my company comes into play. That was the testing that I listed earlier in the very beginning of our conversation, the echocardiogram, which is the ultrasound of your heart. How I try to explain that is just like having an ultrasound. If you were pregnant and you were looking at how well your baby is doing in your stomach, I take my instrument and I do the same thing, but I'm focusing on the functioning of your heart, how well your heart is doing. I take different views of your heart. I look at your valves in your heart. You have 4 valves in your heart. It may be leaky, it may not. It may leak back blood, it may be weak. I look at the strength of your heart. So again, we are very, very important to these cardiologists because sometimes we are the first people to see something wrong. And so we have to put preliminary reports together for the doctors before they even look at the study. So we are very vital to these cardiologists and vascular surgeons. So again, start off with an EKG, your primary care, whatever. Even if you go to some of these, sometimes they have screenings or whatnot. Just get an EKG done. If it comes up abnormal, try to find a cardiologist. Have them refer you to a cardiologist and get your behind in the cardiologist so they can do further testing.
You said get your behind in there. And
get your behind in there. Get on in there.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to kind of give a synopsis. I love being on Saturdays because it's an hour show, but it always goes so fast. There's so much information to be shared. But, again, we're bringing awareness. Heart health is so important. And, other inflammations in your body, like we were talking about, in your mouth and things like that, all of it affects your heart. Not only your heart, but all of your organs. So, there's plaque erosion that, causes the blood clots and things to happen. And so, it's so much. And so we can't get through it all, but things I want you to remember from today is starting today. We can't do anything about our past, but starting today, start paying attention to the things that you're putting in your body, how you eat. Pay attention to your activity. Sometimes we think, well, we walk all day at work, but that's not physical activity that's, generating, a healthy heart rate and stuff like that. Watch your cholesterol, you control your blood sugar, maintain a healthy weight, maintain or monitor your blood pressure. If you're somebody that smokes, maybe try to, cut back a little bit. Just the little things you do. Just your whole body mass index. All these things are so important and play a role. Before we get off, I want Selena and Lauren to just kind of tell you again, where they're located and how you can get in touch with them if you need to. So, Selena?
All right. Again, the name of my company is Carolina Cardiac Care. I am right here in Columbia, South Carolina. However, we will travel, Georgia, North Carolina, wherever we will travel if necessary. You can reach me via email at ccc, the word cardiac, at gmail.com. Again, that is ccc, then the word cardiac at gmail.com. On Facebook, you can go to our business page, Carolina Cardiac Care, and like and share. And a lot of times I will put information on there as well. Website-wise, you can go again to ccc, the word cardiac.org, ccccardiac.org. If you want to reach me by phone, you may call 803-638-8350. And one more thing I wanted to add, if you want tons and tons of information in regards to heart disease and stroke and all that good stuff, please visit the American Heart Association's website at www.heart.org.
Awesome. Thank you. And Lauren, how can we reach out to you?
All right. So the name of my business is Kemetic Fitness and Wellness. Kemetic is spelled Kemetic. and I can be found at Committed Fitness and Wellness on Facebook and as well as Instagram. My telephone number is 912-349-9755, or you can email me, Basu Lauren, BASULAUREN, @gmail.com. And again, I offer all things relating to healing. So a lot of healing modalities I offer. So if I can support you in your healing journey, feel free to give me a call, reach out to me on social media. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ladies, so much. I appreciate, because I knew that you're both passionate about what you do, and like I said, I know you're both women of faith. And so I think this conversation has been very responsible to give us, technical, holistic, and spiritual awareness to the situation. And so thank you, ladies, so much. And Lauren, I'm going to hook up with Selena. Selena hook up with Arletta and Nirvana.
Absolutely.
And we're going to take it from here. All right. Well, thank you, ladies, and thank you, listeners, for joining us today on Making Connections with Allie and Shay. We're here every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Facebook at Making Connections with Allie and Shay, as well as Instagram. And join our Facebook group, and let's discuss. We put announcements and events and things there. We want to be that hub where you find what you need. If you're looking for a cardiac stenographer that needs to help you, if you're looking to bone up on your yoga, we want to be that place where you can go and you can find people like Selena and Lauren. So join us again next week, and as we go off the air, I'm just going to play this little clip. It says 4 Steps to Heart Health from the Mayo Clinic. Thank you, ladies, again, and we'll reach out to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allie.
You're welcome.
What can you do to reduce your risk of heart attack or stroke? There are lots of things that help, but doctors at Mayo Clinic have narrowed the list down to 4. 4 things you can do to dramatically slash your chances of dying of a heart attack or stroke.
So I'm kind of lucky that I'm alive yet,
Nick Bethoulis has a history of bad coronary artery disease.
And then all of a sudden I hear this, uh-oh. That's all I remember. And then I went out. And then when they brought me back, they were clapping and having a good time. And I said, what did I miss? They said, Nick, we lost you, but you're back.
Nick is back better than ever, but he's first to admit that for many years he didn't take good care of his heart health.
I'd eat a steak or 2 a week, maybe 3.
Nick says he didn't eat right, was overweight, didn't exercise, and he smoked.
It really is amazing how important our lifestyle is.
Cardiologist Dr. Stephen Kopetsky says 4 lifestyle habits will dramatically reduce your risk of heart attack or stroke. 1, don't smoke. 2, have a body mass index or BMI of 25 or lower. 3, eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. And 4, exercise vigorously for at least 2.5 hours per week.
If you can achieve those and do those 4 things, if you can do them for a couple of decades, of your life, it will lower your risk of heart attack and stroke by about 87%.
87%. And if you do them for 4 years, it lowers your risk 40%. Any amount helps. But the truth is, only about 3% of us do all 4 things.
So these 4 things are incredibly important, hard to achieve, but they have profound benefits, more than what we found in other standard therapies.
I can do it. Therapies such as cholesterol-lowering drugs and even bypass surgery. So take it from Nick. He's adopted the 4 heart-healthy habits and feels better than ever.
I'm a lucky man.
Dr. Kopetsky says the earlier you start working the 4 healthy habits into your life, the bigger the benefit. But starting at any age will help reduce your risk of dying of a heart attack or stroke. For Medical Edge, I'm Vivian Williams.
Thank you for joining Making Connections.